Hello ladies and gents, it's the Beanie 101 here with my very last video for NHL 15. I know it's been some time coming, but we have some unfinished business with the Detroit Redwings. You can see here we're sitting at a record of 32, 30 and 14. That is a lot of overtime losses, but we have only a few games left of the regular season, and what I want to do is finish off the regular season, do the draft, and draw a line under it before I move on to NHL 16. So, we are going to sim the last few games, and I think we're going to do a proper live commentary on the very last game of the season against Carolina. You can see here we've won 5-4 v Boston, 5-1 against Minnesota, and we're on a 3-game winning streak. We have a scouting assignment coming up, so I think I am going to just cancel that. Washington we beat 4-2 as well. And we play Carolina twice. We've won 5-2. We have Montreal, who we lose to. Man, that would have been a 5-game winning streak. But looking at Carolina's stats, we have better offense, we have better defense. We have traded away Jimmy Howard, so Cam Ward is definitely the better goalie in this situation, but I would certainly like to think that we have a better team in front of Peter Mrazek than Carolina have in front of Ward. So we're going to see how this plays out. I'm going to give you commentary on this very final game of the season, but what I want to also ask is, what are your thoughts on NHL 16 now that it's been out for a few weeks and people have a chance to play it? What do you think of Hockey Ultimate Team? What do you think about GM mode? I am going to be uploading a GM mode for NHL 16, but I am waiting. I'm waiting for a couple of things. The main thing I'm waiting for is for the regular season to start, to be perfectly honest, because there are players and rookies in particular that will not be in the game until the first couple of games of the regular season. So my main thoughts are to players like Jack Eichel, who is not going to be on Buffalo until he's played a full regular season game. So we will wait. But if you have a particular team that you want me to play as, then please leave a comment in the comments section. You can see that Cam Ward has a far better save percentage than Peter Mrazek, a 92% save percentage compared to Mrazek, who is under 900. But I'm going to say I think this Detroit team has a far better team in front of our goaltender to put some goals on the board. So we are cycling low very early on the first period, and you know what? Nyquist is there to pop the puck home. Monahan and Hagelin with the assist. So we're going to take another look at this goal. You can see the puck is down low in the corners. A great little saucer pass to Nyquist. And Cam Ward has absolutely no chance. He probably should have used his stick to cut the pass out, but he didn't. And he couldn't quite get his leg across to the right-hand side in time. So Nyquist is able to pop the puck home. Those are the highlights of the first period. We're going to take a look at some of the main action points. Plenty of shots from the Detroit Red Wings here. We're very much on top, one period up. We deserve the 1-goal lead, and Carolina are floundering to a certain extent. So now we move on to the second period, and we want to make an emphatic statement to the last game of the season. So here we go with the opening face of the second period. The puck is dumped in by Carolina, and Cromwell manages to pop the puck out front, and it's the worst possible start to the second period. We've seen that goal a couple of times during the course of the regular season. Defensemen, man, they pin themselves against the boards when they're under the slightest bit of pressure, and then just chuck the puck right out in front. Skinner has time and space to pick his corner, and he makes absolutely no mistake. Top shelf, near side, Mrazek is left absolutely stranded. Disappointing to say the least after we'd worked so hard to get the lead in the first period. So now we're about midway through the second, and we have Carolina on the attack. They slow the puck down. They're playing it around. There's a great shot on Mrazek, and Stahl picks up his own rebound and manages to slot it home. Mrazek's got to be disappointed with that. We're now 2-1 down. And the Carolina crowd are going crazy. You've got Skinner and Stahl with the assists. So Jordan manages to assist his brother, but Eric Stahl, you know what? He's coming towards the back end of his career, but he's always been an elite goal scorer. He might not quite put up the numbers that you expect from him as someone who really leads the Carolina attack, but good goal there. He's still the captain. He's got the C on his jersey, and he's making it count. So here we are a couple of minutes later, and we've got a face-off deep into the Carolina zone. They managed to get the breakout pass out very easily and play it back to the point. Back down low, and they throw a puck very close to the net, and Mrazek makes a good save. But Carolina still come away with the puck. They're looking for a good pass. Skinner, oh, he plays the pass across. And it's the second of the game for Eric Stahl. Mrazek can't really get across in time. He slides across, but Stahl is able to slot it 5-hole. So an absolute carbon copy of the previous goal. Jordan Stahl and Skinner with the assists on Eric Stahl. They throw their hands up in glory. Mrazek can't get across. He's making a poor save. He should have slid across with his pads. But the power of hindsight is a great thing. So now Carolina have a 3-1 lead. Pretty much bang on halfway through the game. So Detroit have a lot of work to do. We got to get the pucks in deep. We've got to win the forecheck. And we've got to make sure that the shots that we take absolutely count. And you know what? Straight away, we get to within a 1-goal deficit. Great goal there. You've got a guy that's parking himself in front, Daniel Cleary. The puck comes out there, and he's not being hustled off the puck. The Carolina D-man is a bit late on his check. And Cam Ward really has absolutely no chance. Great goal by Detroit, and it makes sure that our Red Wings have a chance. So we're now towards the back end of the second period, and our Detroit Red Wings are deep in the Carolina zone. We try and play the puck around. We get the puck deep. We retrieve it. It goes to the point. There's an absolute clapper. And Eriksson, I think that was. We're going to check that in just a second, but I'm pretty sure it's... No. It's Brendan Smith. Nyquist and Hagelin with the assists. But an absolute clapper. There's traffic in front. And Smith completely unsights Cam Ward with the shot. He really doesn't have a chance. He's got to guess. He guesses wrong. So now we have a tied game going into the third period. There is absolutely everything to play for. In this game at least. Let's face it. Neither of these teams are going to be making the playoffs. So it's exciting to see some young players out there. Some guys with no stress. Disappointing. They could have got another shot off right at the end and we could have taken the lead into the third period. But didn't quite take the shot. Some great highlights here of the second period. Plenty of goals to look at. You can see here, Skinner's pass to Stahl again. But again, really good look at the screen. That is in place when Brendan Smith takes his slap shot from the point. And we're a tied game. So we're now about midway through the third period, and Detroit is on the breakout. We hold up play. We play it to the point, and the slap shot goes just wide. But then from behind the net, we play it out in front. We find the open man, and Monahan is there. Johnny on the spot to slot the puck home to Kaiser, and Hagelin again with the assist. Hagelin's having a great game. Good pass. I've got to be honest, the referee might have unsighted the goalie here. Look where the referee is. Look where the referee is. The referee is pretty much on the goalpost as Monahan is putting that puck in. I'll be honest with you, if I was Cam Ward, I would be absolutely pissed with the fact that the D-man is nowhere to be seen, but the fact that the referee is right in his face. So the restart, Carolina win the face-off, and Detroit retrieve the puck and are playing it up the ice. Cleary tries to skate the puck into the zone. He holds himself up a little bit. He slows the pace down. He gets a pass right out into prime goal-scoring territory. And you know what? We make no mistake. So, from the beginning of the first period, we went down a couple of goals to the third period where it was even Stevens, and then Riley Sheehan gives Detroit a 2-goal lead. Cam Ward been absolutely hung out to dry. So this is what I was saying about the fact that I feel that, yeah, okay, Carolina have the better goaltender on paper, and Detroit, really, you know, Mrazek is work in progress. We see with 30 seconds left that Carolina managed to score another goal. So that's a goal with their net empty. Lindholm manages to slot it home. It's a good pass. It's a bit of a nothing goal. Yeah, sure, it's prime scoring territory, but it's far too simple. Far too simple. The Detroit D-men really not in a position to defend that play. And with a few seconds left, we shoot a puck just wide of the net. It does not matter though. So for the second time only, the Detroit Red Wings are able to win a live game in my GM commentary, which is brilliant stuff. Really excited the fact that we've been able to win a game. And that's our last live game for NHL 15. You can see some of the highlights here. Yeah, Mrazek doesn't really stand too much of a chance on some of the goals, but equally, the Detroit Red Wings are patient. They wait it out. They play a good offensive game, and we win 5-4. Good way to end the season. The last month of the season, we've only lost one game. You can see the 3 stars here. Skinner, Stahl, Hagelin with 3 assists. I really don't understand why one of the Detroit Red Wings is not the first star. But a really good end to the month of April. We're 4-1. And we're going to take a quick look at the standings now. Unfortunately, we are unable to make the playoffs. We have 88 points, so we're not a million miles away. The Boston Bruins made it in there with 92 points. But I want to take a look at what our goals for are, and more importantly, what our goals against are. Our goals against are terrible. 3.224, not very good. On the flip side, there are some players that played really well for us this season. Zetterberg, 87 points, absolutely fantastic. Gaudreau, we picked up late. Monahan, we picked up late, but they certainly contributed. Hagelin, 53 points, great performance. Cronwall, 50 points from D. That is good stuff. And let's be honest with ourselves. Henrique, second line centre, 43 points. It's not as terrible as we first thought. You know, a second line forwards, you're probably going to be looking at around 50 odd points. 43 is not a million miles away. The disappointing thing is a -9. Likewise with some of our D-men, Cody Franson, -9. Not good. We're going to have a look at the league overall, and, you know, out of nowhere, Crosby and Malkin are the top 2 point scorers in the league. Crosby's obviously had a pretty tricky season because he's put up 103 points, but he's only +8. Malkin seems to have been playing maybe a little bit better, 5-5 with a +17. Stamkos, you know, you've got some elite players here. The interesting thing is there's a lot of players that are over a point per game. You know, Kopitar, Perry, Sedin, Parise, Giroux, Hossa, Zetterberg, Kane, and then Radim Vrbata. Jesus, this guy got 43 goals over the course of the season for the Vancouver Canucks. Other than that, there's not really any surprises in the players that are top of the list. There's no Ovechkin, but you can see him here towards the top end of the goal-scoring charts. 48 goals, good season by Ovi. Only 22 assists though, only 22 helpers. Bit disappointing, only 70 points. He really is a goal scorer first and foremost. Looking at the assists, you've got the usual players: Sedin, Kopitar, Jumbo Joe. Filppula has had a good season. 20 goals but 61 assists. He's clearly been helping Stamkos pop the biscuit in the basket. And Zetterberg, 27 goals, 60 assists. A good, solid season. Ryan Suter, man. From D, he's had 4 goals and 59 assists. 59 assists from D. Crazy. We're going to have a look at the D-man here. some good performances. Not going to lie, some good performances. You've got Keith, you've got Suter that are up the top of the charts. Chris Letang, good season with Pittsburgh. Hedman, Barry, Campbell, these are all offensive defensemen or two-way defensemen that have got some good skills in their locker. There's no surprises here, right? There's no surprises at all. Jack Johnson has had a solid season. 57 points in Columbus. Very, very good season. And talking about plus minus, Jay Boomeister of the St. Louis Blues, plus 37. The Chicago D-men are also ranked very, very highly up there. We're going to look at the rookies. Who is going to win the Calder? Let's... wow. There can only be one man that wins the Calder, really. And it's our very own Detroit Red Wings, Johnny Gaudreau. Johnny Hockey, 70 points in his first season in the league. And let's not take anything away from Philip Forsberg. He's got 49 points in 61 games. He has missed 20 games of the season, so a bit disappointing for him. He probably could have pushed Gaudreau close to the end. Drouin, Kuznetsov. There are some very good rookies there that are putting up some decent points in the first year in the league. So here's hope that can continue. You can see the standings of the Atlantic Division. A bit surprising that Florida win the Atlantic. In the Metropolitan, not really too many surprises with the Rangers and the Penguins. The Hurricanes may be a surprise, especially as we swept them aside relatively easily in a couple of games towards the season. In the Central, the Chicago Blackhawks are far and away the winners of that division. The Stars, the Wild, and the Blues also make the playoffs. In the Pacific, you've got the Sharks, the Kings, the Ducks, and the Canucks that make the playoffs. And way behind is everybody else, the Flames, the Oilers, and the Coyotes. So this is what the Eastern Conference looks like. A bit disappointing that our Detroit team has missed the playoffs, but there are still several teams that are, considerably lower than us. So 88 points was actually, considering we traded a lot of players and we were thinking, we're full on tank mode. 88 points is not a million miles away from the playoffs. So the guys we traded for have obviously done the business. In the Western Conference, you've got the Coyotes that are the league worst. The Oilers are also doing terribly. So we have a couple of decisions to make. We want to try and get some decent players in. You can see there that I've simmed the rest of the season, and the Boston Bruins are the winners of the Stanley Cup. We've got one last scouting assignment, and then we are going to sim all the way to the draft. And like I say, we have a few decisions of what we want to do with the draft. We are not going to have a fantastic draft pick due to our league standing. We may get something that's, I don't know, around about top 10, depending upon how the lottery goes. But we all know that there is an elite talent in the draft picking at number 1. Connor McDavid is almost definitely going to go number 1 in the draft. So the question is, are we in a position where we can trade someone away to get that first overall pick? Because we've done all right this season. We've missed the playoffs, but we want to get a little bit younger. We've traded away Datsuk. I've put Zetterberg on the block. Although I would be quite happy to keep Henrik Zetterberg around for an extra year or so. So it's the New Jersey Devils that have the first overall pick. Buffalo, as in real life, have the second overall pick. But I am going to see if I can coax away this number 1 pick from the New Jersey Devils. So let's see what sort of a deal that we can put together. So I'm going to look for my first round pick, Henrik, and my second round pick. Oh, wow. That easy? First time round? Second round pick for 2016. First round pick for 2015, and Adam Henrique gets us our first overall. And that allows us to draft what's going to be an absolute franchise talent in Connor McDavid. Now, it's interesting the way that the draft works and the way that your scouting plays into the fact of how you feel players are going to do. You've got Barzal and McDavid that are both listed, projected as franchise players. But Barzal is also a low top 9, whereas McDavid is absolutely nailed on to be an elite player. So we've traded for the first round pick. If we've traded for it, there is absolutely no reason why we can't take Connor McDavid. Barzal goes second. Not very surprising at all. Kylington, Pilon, Yan, Milosh, Zabrowski, Broil, Bowman, Strome, man. Dylan Strome goes third overall in the real draft and goes about 14 or 15 here. It's interesting the way the EA do the player ratings, I'll be perfectly honest with you. We have another first round pick, so we are just going to have a look at who's available. There's Roy, or there's, oh man, maybe we go for Marner, the in real life Toronto prospect. Or Kraus is still available. Zasher is still available. Oh man. There's plenty of players that we can still pick that are going to be very, very solid players. Part of me wants a D-man. Our defense is not great. So maybe I pick a D-man. See, this guy, Provorov, it's maybe a bit off-piste, but you look at his skills, we've got a high probability that this guy is going to be very good, and he's going to be at the very least a top 4D. Some of the other players, including the guys that are going to be top 10, Jeremy Roy, I'm guessing. He's going to be French-Canadian with those accents over the E's of Jeremy. Who do I go for at the end of the first round? I'm tempted because we've got McDavid to go a little bit off-piste. Maybe draft someone that I feel has a great deal of potential. So we're going to go for Wah. It's going to provide some help for our D. So here are the picks. I've seen the rest of the draft. We've got McDavid, Wah, Gunnarsson, Ford. Yeah, plenty of other guys. Interesting that McDavid is only a 74 overall. Now, this is something that could improve in the off-season. I'm hoping McDavid has a strong off-season and develops into somebody who's maybe high 70s, early 80s. But it certainly looks like, even though we've drafted Connor McDavid, he is not necessarily going to be a player that we're going to be able to use straight away. I'm now going to move to the contract renegotiation screen. We have a number of free agents, restricted free agents. Nyquist is absolutely key to this process. He's 25 years old. He wants 3 years. I'm going to attempt to give him 6. Jerko, similar thing, 22 years old. I'm going to attempt to give him 5 years. Helm, see if we can get him a little bit cheaper. At the moment, he wants 2.8 million. I reckon I can get him 4 years for 2.6. McDavid, I'm going to sign. I don't think I need to worry too much about the cap hit of McDavid. Hagelin has had a good, solid season since he was traded to the Red Wings. He's got some playmaking ability. He's got plenty of skating ability. He's fast. So I think I want to keep him around. He provides a bit of pace inside. So 5 years at 3.5 mil. Looks like it's decent value. Franson, I'm less sure about. He wants 4 million a season for 2 years. So I'm going to offer him 3.8. Brendan Smith, 3 years. He wants under 5 million. Sorry, under 3 million. So let's see if we can knock this down a little bit. Let's try 2.7, see what he comes back with. He's only 82 overall. He's supposed to be a top 4 D-man. I can't be bothered to give him anything more than a 1-year deal, to be perfectly honest. Mrazek, on the other hand, is has the potential to be an NHL starter. And hang on a minute. If I want him for 7 or 8 years, he wants just over 1 million? That's ridiculous. I mean, he could be a starting goalie, like 82... I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see what happens. So Helm accepts. I want Mrazek to accept, man. If I can get him 7 years or 8 years for like 1.2 million, that's an absolute steal for a goalie. We have everyone accepting so far. Hagelin, Mrazek's accepted. So is McDavid. So that's brilliant. We've got a goalie absolutely dirt cheap there. Why would a goaltender sign a 7 or 8 year deal for 1.3 million? That's ridiculous. So I almost feel a little bit dirty the fact that I've gamed the system a little bit. But we're coming towards free agency now, and I want to fill out some gaps in my team. Justin Williams is someone that is a clutch playoff performer. A clutch performer, full stop. So an 87-year-old right wing, sorry, an 87 overall right wing. He wants 5.8 mil, but you know what? Sure, I've got plenty of cap space. So we're going to offer Justin Williams kind of what he wants. Maybe add a couple of years to the term. See how we can go. I do need some D though. I desperately need some D-men that are competent. And if you look at the free agency list, you got 4 players that are 83 overall. Other than that, it's pretty slim picking. So even 83 overall is not ideal. Johnny Aduya, a defensive D-man. A little bit put off by the fact that he's 33. Sure, I might be able to get another 2 or 3 years out of him. But maybe someone like Petrie or Metzeros, who are both quite a lot younger. However, you can see here that because they're younger, they are asking for an awful lot more in terms of salary. I'm not too concerned. I can afford it. I've got rid of a lot of players. So let's see if we can try and sign Metzeros. Let's see if we can try and sign Petrie. Brodziak is probably in line for a 3rd or 4th line centre role to flesh out some of our depth in the bottom 6. And Marcel Gottsch, is he someone that I want? I don't know. I kind of think that I want Brodziak. We're going to take a look at his stats. I don't necessarily... Certainly the defensive side of the puck, Brodziak is a better player. So if he's going to be in bottom 6, I want someone to be maybe a little bit more physical, a little bit more defensive. So Brodziak is the guy that I'm going for. You can see that he rejected the contract. So regardless of what I offered, he's probably gone elsewhere. Justin Miller, on the other hand, man, he's back. He's with our Detroit team. Quite happy to have someone of the caliber of Justin Williams that is going to be playing on the Detroit Red Wings team with someone like Zetterberg. I can imagine they're going to score plenty of goals. Zetterberg, Williams, Gaudreau, not bad. I'm still trying to flesh out my bottom 6. So Komu is getting a contract which he duly accepts. And now we're going to take a little bit of a look on our final line. So Zetterberg, Monahan, Gaudreau, Nyquist, Sheehan, Williams, Hagelin, Helm, Jurko, Abdelkader, Glandeling, and Tom Wilson. That's a pretty strong lineup front to back. Though those forwards are doing a decent job. I would quite like to get a little bit more out of players like Tom Wilson. But you know what? If he's putting up semi-decent points on the final line, then maybe it's a case of changing the strategy that we play to, and we're less defensive and we push guys forward no matter what line they're on. But yeah, 82 overall. Tom Wilson has a lot to learn, but he's clearly getting there. Especially in the summer if he spent all time with our off-season coach. So that's everything for my first season. I hope you've enjoyed thoroughly the NHL 15 experience and the Be a GM mode. If there is anybody in particular that you want me to use in NHL 16, then let me know in the comments below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. All of your support is greatly appreciated. And thank you very much. I'll catch you again next time.